All right, let's pull back the curtain on a topic that, well, it usually hangs out in the shadows of the business world: corporate corruption. Now, we've all heard that term thrown around, but what does it really mean? And more importantly, what's its true hidden cost? Let's dive in and find out.
It really all boils down to this one simple sounding question. Is taking a client out for a nice dinner a friendly gesture to build a relationship, or is it something else entirely? That really blurry line, that's exactly what we're going to explore today. When does a company cross over from just goodwill into straight up illegality?
Okay, so first things first, before we can even begin to spot a bribe out in the wild, we kind of have to understand the whole ecosystem it lives in. So let's start at the top with some basic but super important definitions. So at the very top of the food chain, we have corruption. And the key phrase here, the one you really want to remember, is abuse of entrusted power. See, this isn't just about money. It's about someone, anyone, in a position of authority, whether they're in a government office or a corporate boardroom, completely betraying that trust for their own benefit. It is the root of the entire problem. Okay, so if corruption is the big picture, bribery is a very specific action inside that world of corruption. It's the transaction, right? It's that anything of value, and yeah, sure, that could be a stack of cash, but it could also be a hot stock tip, or a fancy job for your nephew, or an all-expenses-paid vacation, and it's all given for one reason: to make someone do something they absolutely should not be doing. So how do these two ideas really connect? Well, here's the best way to think about it. Imagine corruption is the disease, and it's weakening the entire system. Bribery, then, is its most obvious symptom. It's the cough, the fever. You can treat the symptom, sure, but to really fix things, you've got to cure the underlying disease. So we get what a bribe is in theory, but let me tell you, in the real world, it is almost never a bad guy handing over a literal bag of cash in a dark alley. Bribery can wear a whole lot of different masks, and some of them are incredibly subtle. A bribe can be super direct, you do this for me, I'll give you that. Easy. But it can also be way more indirect, funneled through, say, a third-party consultant, or disguised as a legitimate marketing expense on a spreadsheet. The goal is exactly the same, but the methods, they can be pretty clever. And this really shows the different forms it can take. First, you've got kickbacks. That's a classic. Imagine a company wins a $10 million contract, but then they secretly pay $1 million of that back to the official who made it happen. Then there are facilitation payments. People sometimes call these grease payments. Think of it like this: you're paying a customs agent a little extra to move your stuff to the front of the line. You were gonna get through anyway, but it buys you speed. And finally, gifts and hospitality. Look, a free pan at a conference is fine. Flying an official and their entire family first class for a factory tour that's actually just a week at a 5-star resort, yeah, that's where you cross the line. You see, the price of a bribe is never just the money that gets exchanged. Some experts think global corruption costs trillions, with a T, trillions of dollars every single year. But the real cost, it just ripples outward, causing massive damage to the company and to the whole society it's a part of. And this is where the pain really sets in. Internally, corruption just rots a company's culture from the inside. Good people leave, and the company's ethical compass gets totally lost. Externally, a reputation that took decades to build can be absolutely shattered overnight, wiping out public and investor trust. And finally, the operational hit, it's devastating. We're talking about crippling multi-billion-dollar fines, years tied up in court, and getting blacklisted from bidding on crucial government contracts for a decade or more. I mean, just think about that for a second. That quote says it all, doesn't it? Fines can eventually be paid off. Executives can be replaced, but trust is the most valuable and the most fragile asset any company has. Once it's gone, getting it back is next to impossible. Now, it is not all doom and gloom. This is not some unchecked problem spiraling out of control. Over the last few decades, a really powerful global movement has actually risen up to fight back against this stuff. What's happened is there's this growing understanding that corruption isn't just the cost of doing business. No way. It's a fundamental threat to fair markets, to stable societies, to everything. And this unified stance, that's been the real driving force behind creating a framework for accountability. And here are the tools of the trade. The fight is coming from all angles. It starts at the top, with international treaties that set global standards. That's then backed up by tough national laws that have real teeth. like the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act in the US. Then, companies themselves are now expected to build these strong internal programs to stop corruption before it even starts. And, crucially, we're seeing much stronger protections for whistleblowers, those incredibly brave people who often risk their entire careers to expose wrongdoing.
So, this is the thought I want to leave you with. We have the tools, we have the global will, but in this incredibly complex world where business crosses countless borders every single day, the fight against corruption, it's a constant battle. The laws are there, but making them work everywhere, all the time, that remains the ultimate challenge. And the big question is, will we ever truly get there?